Why do Western countries dare not use force to sanction Russia? Because Russia has three very powerful allies. Who are they? Follow my channel and read on. At present, Western countries have continued to strengthen sanctions against Russia, but there has been no military action. Especially after Russia revealed its nuclear weapons, many countries that were sanctioned have expressed that they will no longer impose additional sanctions on Russia, which annoyed the United States, but it cannot change the fact. After all, other countries do not have the strong military power of the United States. Russia's nuclear forces are still very fearful. Russia has inherited the powerful nuclear weapons from the Soviet era and is also one of the countries with the most nuclear forces in the world. The reason why Russia can compete head-on with NATO and Western countries is not only that Russia has nuclear power, but the most fundamental reason is actually Russia's three major allies. As long as these three allies are present, no country dares to launch a war against Russia easily. These three allies are Russia's most powerful force: Army, Land, and Air Force. As we all know, Russia has four major fleets. The most famous is the Russian Northern Fleet, and the Northern Fleet is also the Northern Fleet with the strongest military strength. It was established in the early Tsarist Russia period, and until the Soviet period, the Northern Fleet became the king of the Soviet Maritime Fleet. In order to ensure the control of Linhai, the Soviet Union actively paid attention to the development of the Northern Fleet, and equipped the Northern Fleet with a large number of advanced strategic military equipment, and even adjusted it into an independent military administrative unit. The Northern Fleet alone took up half of the military tasks of the Navy. After the disintegration of the former Soviet Union, it was inherited to the Russian Northern Fleet with 85,000 active soldiers, and it is Russia's only active aircraft carrier Kuznetsov. This aircraft carrier has been in service since 1991 and is still the main force of the Russian Navy to this day, and he is also the first in the world. The takeoff and landing methods of ski jump takeoff and interception landing are used, which greatly shortens the takeoff distance of the fighter and the landing and gliding distance of the fighter, which greatly improves the combat efficiency of the fighter. Maritime defense tasks are generally done by carrier-based aircraft and destroyers. The Kuznetsov was heavily equipped with Su-33 carrier-based aircraft. The Su-33 carrier-based aircraft is also the largest carrier-based aircraft in the world. It has excellent performance in all aspects and can also exert great power in combat in various climates. Not only that, the Russian aircraft carrier is also loaded with 12 anti-ship missiles. The strike distance of the anti-ship missiles is as high as 550 kilometers, and the air defense missiles it carries are also as high as 200. Therefore, the Kuznetsov has powerful offensive and defensive capabilities. His combat effectiveness far exceeds that of ordinary cruisers, so the reliance on destroyers is reduced, and the aircraft carrier is also equipped with Russia's most advanced technology. Wangshan multifunction radar can detect and identify multiple targets, and the tracking accuracy is very high, and its performance is enough to compete with the famous American Aegis carrier-based radar. Although the Kuznetsov is very old, it is very important. The power cannot be underestimated. However, the famous Northern Fleet also has an extremely terrifying murderous aura, that is, Peter the Great. The nuclear-powered cruiser is also known as Russia's naval nuclear weapons arsenal, and it is also the world's largest non-aircraft carrier combat ship and the only non-aircraft carrier nuclear-powered ship in active service. The ship is also loaded with various types of missiles and carries as many as 400 missiles. It is also one of the peak works of the former Soviet Union. Under the strong strength, it can carry out multi-party strikes, and can effectively attack the enemy's water aircraft carrier battle group. There are also supersonic anti-ship missiles that can carry out double strikes on water and underwater, and can distinguish between enemy and foe. Magically, they can automatically give priority to hitting the most threatening targets. The missiles can defy the defenses of any carrier group at supersonic speeds. In fact, Russia's naval power is far more than that. The Northern Fleet is only the most representative of Russia, and there is also a force that cannot be ignored. He is Russia's most mysterious unit. It is also the most powerful special force, and he is the Alpha Special Forces. Alpha was established in 1974. During the former Soviet Union, the KGB recruited the elite of the army and formed it to combat domestic terrorism. The formation of this unit was extremely mysterious. At first, in order to keep it secret, it was only represented by an A. It was not until 1991 that this unit was finally exposed. This mysterious unit was named Alpha directly according to the pronunciation of the code. Alpha's selection of team members is very strict. Most of them are around 25 years old, and they will retire when they are 35 years old. The service time is only a short 10 years. Not only that, but the Alpha team also conducts hellish training, sticking to the swamp of mosquitoes for hours, and must have the ability to blow up the missile silo alone. Learning various combat skills, even close combat training, must be carried out in an extremely small space, and it is also necessary to train to shuttle between tanks on the move. It is precisely because of such high-intensity training that Alpha spent only 24 hours in a beheading operation of an Afghan leader. Under the protection of 20,000 Afghan soldiers, they beheaded nearly 8 Afghan leaders at a very small price, and killed a total of 350 Afghan presidents and elites. The victory of this operation directly created the miracle of the World Special Forces combat, and also became a textbook-style operation. There are also 3 ace special forces in Russia, namely the GRU Signal Flag and the SSO. These 3 special forces also have extremely strong combat capabilities, and their capabilities are not inferior to Alpha, but they do not have the brilliant record of Alpha, which is enough to make Western countries afraid. Russia's war butchers are also world-renowned, and wherever they go, nothing grows. Destroy a village in just 7 seconds. This weapon is also the TOS tank developed by Russia. The attack of this tank is more like a fire-breathing monster, but it is not just as simple as fire-breathing, otherwise it will not be the most powerful weapon of the Russian army, and even the power is so terrible that it was once attributed to the ranks of nuclear weapons. This tank fires no ordinary artillery shells at all, but uses multi-barrel self-propelled gun barrels to spray thermobaric rockets. It can use high temperature and high pressure to produce great destructive power. After the explosion, a large amount of heat energy will be generated, and the explosion range of the shells shot by the ultra-high pressure shock wave is as high as 300 meters, and the temperature can even reach more than 3000, which is enough to turn people into ashes in an instant. Even if it withstands the heat of the explosion, the ultra-high pressure generated will tear those who come into contact with it to shreds. Faced with such a terrifying weapon, there may not be even a body left. Moreover, the active TOSI tanks have been upgraded many times. The shells are not launched individually. The 24 shells loaded can be poured out in only 7 seconds, and their range is also as high as 6 kilometers. The shells fired by this tank will not be concentrated at one point, but hit at multiple points, plus the scope of the shell itself, which can directly cause large-scale damage. Even Syrian TV broadcast the perverted weapon. However, he didn't make many appearances in the war, not to say that he was ostentatious, but because his mass destruction was too perverted. Putin has also said that Russian troops never attack civilians, so his appearances are very few. His first appearance was in the Chechen War. After a long time, the Chechen rebels dispatched this tank and carried out a carpet bombing, easily defeating the strong Chechen armed forces. The Russian Air Force, the Su-57 fighter jet, is known as the king of maneuverability and the king of air melee combat, and this fighter jet is also a 5th-generation fighter jet independently developed by Russia. This fighter is equipped with a world-leading omnidirectional vector thrust engine with a top speed of 2,600 km per hour, which has become a magic weapon for Russia to win by surprise on the battlefield. This is a heavy-duty stealth fighter with the pure blood of Russian fighters. It has the advantages of a large amount of bombs, strong maneuverability, strong firepower, and a range source. It also makes up for most of the shortcomings of the old Russian fighters. Built-in 4 weapons bays. Most of the weapons and ammunition that can hold 10 tons in combat are air-to-air missiles, and even missiles with nuclear warheads under certain circumstances. From this point of view, Russia has an extremely powerful army, navy, land and air force. It is these 3 loyal allies that make Russia's hostile countries dare not act rashly, which is why Russia is so tough. Well, this video is over here. What do you want to see in the next issue? Welcome to leave a message in the comment area.